So this is Holly. This is Ivy's sister. Aww. So it's not gonna take me as long, but more nervous than Ivy. She's a little more like scared, I guess. She's got more anxiety. So she presents her own unique challenges. Oh man, it's so hot in here, hot and humid that it's like hard to think. Alrighty. See, she's got a lot more anxiety than her sister Ivy does. So she's going to present her own set of challenges. So even though she has an easier coat, you know, we have her temperament, her temperament, her personality to deal with, or to consider, I should say. Okay. So with her, even though she has these tangles, she has a lot lighter coat. It's not as thick. It's a little bit more wiry type of hair, almost a terrier type hair. So with her, I could just go through with the Greyhound comb, and it's not that difficult. So you see what I mean? Compared to Ivy, her sister, with that thick, woolly, sheep-like coat, this one here is much more like a wiry terrier kind of coat. So it's much easier to comb out. Look at that. So with this leg right here, I've already got the comb to go through. Whereas with Ivy, her sister, just to get this comb to go through the way it is, I had to use 3 different tools. I had to break it up with the slicker brush, then go through with the dematting tool, and then I even had to get some scissors and use the cutting blade to cut through some of those mats. But with her, with just this comb, I got just this much, and her front leg's already combed out, see? So the type of coat you're working with, it has a lot to do with the amount of work that's going to be, necessary, I guess. The amount of work that needs to be done. There you go. Oh yeah, and I forgot, I do have this Mellow Pet spray that seems to work well with dogs that have a little bit left, because I've been using the crap out of this. It's called Mellow Pet by Show Season. So I just kind of spray this up in the air around the dog. And that way, that scent, as it comes down, they smell it, it starts to calm them down. Raquel, we lost you. Oh no, I actually had to end the stream because I got a phone call that came in. I've been waiting for that phone call, and we had to, there was a conversation that needed to happen, I guess. Without getting into too much detail, because it is a little personal, this corona pandemic, with all this social distancing and all the other chaos that's going around, I think it's just bringing out the worst in us, in some people, all the pressure. And so there's a lot of drama, some stuff going on in the background. So I had to take that. But anyways, I'm back, and Ivy's done. She's happy and laying down inside. I took a few pictures of her because she looked like a soft little beautiful cloud. So anyways, she's happy. She's happy because she's done. Understand that, yeah, Raquel. So that's the thing. It's like, man, I know that a lot of people are upset with me because I don't get back with everyone. But I try, and particularly the ones, the emails or the messages that I get when somebody's going self-available. And so yeah, we talked a little bit. But anyways, I don't want to get into the details because I don't want to put the person who I had a conversation with just now, I don't want to put them at risk of any unwanted backlash or anything. But anyways, the grooming world is fickle. Very, very catty, the grooming world, which is surprising, because we deal with dogs, but very catty sometimes. You know what I don't get? is when people are able to be really nice and fake in front of someone that they don't like. I just think that that's so fascinating. Like that's compartmentalizing like crazy, right? I mean, and I witnessed it one time when I was in Utah. I was working at this boarding and training facility, but in the break room, I was working in the break room at that time because they didn't really have a place for me to work. So I was grooming a dog in the break room, and a couple of the girls that were working there were talking trash. I mean, just really having a serious shit talking session about another one of the coworkers, about the girls that work there. And believe it or not, the girl they're talking shit about walks in, right? And it's like flipping a switch, like a switch just got flipped. And they were like so nice to her. It was like almost frightening to see. They were so nice to her. Not only were they nice, but one of them was like, "Oh, I'm going out to go get, I forget which fast food restaurant because it's kind of different out there. I forget which one they said. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to such and such. You want me to go pick you up a sandwich when I'm out there?" And I'm thinking, the shit you just said about her. Pick her up a sandwich when you just talked all that shit about her. I don't know. It's just really interesting. But it's just funny to me. I think that's why I don't get along in the grooming world, because I have no poker face. If I don't like somebody, you're gonna see it all over my face. And there are a lot of people in the grooming industry that I just don't like anymore. And so you can't unsee things that you've seen, you can't unhear things you've heard. So anyways, yeah, for me, I just can't be fake nice. I hate myself whenever I have to do it. Even when I'm like with a group of friends and I'm just being nice to somebody because they're mutual friends and they just happen to be there at the party, I hate that feeling of having to be nice to someone I don't really like. Just to keep up social decorum, I guess. I don't know. I really just want to tell that person, hey, I really don't like you. I don't care if you're friends with all my friends. I just don't like you. Could you please not talk to me? Like, that would be so much more refreshing for me than to have to smile and pretend. I don't know. I'm just not about that. I feel like you gotta be real, And I was watching this Netflix series with my daughters when I visited them for Father's Day, called Raising Dion. And he desperately wants to fit in with his friends at school. And he was like so excited to tell them about this cheat code he found for this game called Repo Reptile, or Reptile Repo or something. And his friends are like, "You're not still playing Reptile Repo, are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" And they're like, "Boring." And this one kid was like making fun of the game. And Dion, he goes, "Yeah, I know, right? That's why I stopped playing too." Great example of what not to do. I was like, don't try to fit in and change yourself. If you like to play Reptile Repo, you like to play Reptile Repo. Who cares if your friends don't? Like what you like, and don't like what you don't like. Don't say you like something you don't to impress your friends. And, it's like, just be you, because when you are the real version of yourself, then you attract better friends, real friends, because you're being real, But when you try to put on a show, be someone, try to be someone you're not, to try to impress other people, that's too hard, And I used to. I mean, that used to be my biggest down. I still do. I remember one time at the Atlanta Pet Fair, this trade show for dog groomers, this gentleman came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I watch your YouTube channel, I really like it." And I was like, "Oh, wow, thank you so much, And I felt so, I don't know, like so appreciative. I felt like I got to do something, I have to do something to make it worth it, like I have to be deserving of him, saying that or something. So I literally started walking around, kind of following him. And every time we would make eye contact, I'd be like, "Oh, hey," and he'd be like, "Oh," and you could tell he was kind of getting a little uncomfortable. Like, dude, is this guy following me? I was following him. And looking for an opportunity to have another conversation with him because I was just like, oh man, I gotta somehow prove myself to him or something. And I realized how creepy and weird that was. And, now I realize like, I don't have to do anything really. They just want to say hi. What if all he wanted to do was just say, hey man, cool YouTube channel. And that's it. Like, oh, I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry about that. Got a little snag here under the armpit. But yeah, I just realized that, like, sometimes trying too hard to impress people backfires on you. And instead of impressing them, they are unimpressed. Not only unimpressed, but they're weirded out by it. It's kind of like if you ask your friends, hey man, what can I say? How can I act so you'll like me more? You know? Like, and they're gonna be like, what? Like, seriously, tell me what I can say. How can I talk? How can I act? How can I dress so that you'll like me better? So you'll like me even more? They're gonna be like, dude, why are you being so weird? Like, don't ask me that. Just be yourself. I like you. Okay. So, look at that. Already got her front all combed out. Literally half the time. What is it, 12 minutes? Oh my goodness, we've been combing her for 12 minutes. I'm already halfway done. So, thank you so much, Holly. I really appreciate the break, especially after her sister Ivy. Oh, gee. Okay. Because of the coronavirus, and a lot of groomers are starting to lose work at their salons, other groomers are looking to kind of start their own thing now, house call grooming and things like that. You should crack open the garage door just for a bit for some air. Yeah, Monica, right? It is getting kind of stuffy in here. Maybe I will. Just for some air. Alrighty. Thank you, Monica. That's a great idea. Okay. Oh, you can see my car. I don't want to show off my car, my amazing Toyota Corolla 2015. It's got Bluetooth, So anyways, I don't want to brag about my car, so I just want to make sure. There we go. Anyways. Okay, what was I just about to talk about? I was just about to say something. I was like, oh man. Shoot. I don't remember anymore. Okay. Actually, wow, it is. Okay. It is not that much warmer out there. So I don't know if you guys know about this podcast, Jocko. Yeah, I think it's Jocko Williams. Anyways, this guy Jocko, he was like this big army guy, and now he does like motivational podcast. But one thing that he was talking about really kind of inspired me. He was like, when it sucks, be glad it sucks, He was like, man, it's hot, it's tough, it's difficult, it sucks. He's like, good. Whenever it starts to suck, tell yourself, good, I'm glad it sucks. Because you're getting stronger. You're pushing yourself, and I kind of like that idea. They say every day, try to push yourself to the limit in something. Whether it's going to the gym and really pushing yourself to the limit there, or if you have a physical job like this, push yourself, every day. That way you are familiar with what the limit is and where your limits are, Having a heat stroke, yeah. Having a heat stroke, Now, I remember the first time I thought I was gonna die because of work, because I worked too hard. It was at the animal hospital started off at. And at the animal hospital, even after hours, I could continue grooming because we were grooming the dogs that were boarding. And so I was getting behind one day, and So, but a couple of the dogs that were on the schedule, they weren't leaving till the morning and they were boarding that night. So I was working on the other dogs that were more of a priority. And finally, after the day was done, I started working on the dogs that I didn't get to, that needed to be done by the morning. And I worked until 9 p.m. that night. I remember the janitors that worked, at night. They were waiting on me to lock the building, to lock the door, and we all left together. So that day I started working from like 9 p.m., 12 hours straight. And oh, sorry about that. And I was sweating the whole time, and I was just pouring sweat and just working my ass off the whole day. And finally, when I got in my car, my body was trembling, and like I felt like my skin was buzzing. And on the way home, I stopped by McDonald's because I was just so hungry. And I ordered a double quarter pounder with cheese, double quarter pounder with cheese with large fries. And I think a Dr. Pepper is what I ordered. And I took one bite of the hamburger, the double quarter pounder, and I threw up. I had to pull the car over and I threw up. And I couldn't finish it. I felt nauseous, I felt sick, and my face was pale. And I made it home. And I remember I made it to the couch and just collapsed on the couch. And I told my wife, I think I'm gonna die. I was like, honey, I think I'm gonna die. I worked myself to death. But, after a while, I felt a little better after resting, hydrating, getting some water, fluids, and then eating. And then that was the first time that happened. And then when I had my shop, several times I pushed myself to the limit where I thought I was gonna die, literally. But the thing is, I see why they say to push yourself to that limit, because once you push yourself to that limit, you push the line a little further, and you're able to withstand more. You grow stronger. Literally, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I got stronger. I got more stamina, I guess, and now it just feels like nothing can kill me. There was one day where I was working outside in the summer heat with the two huskies. It was on a Sunday after I spent a long day grooming Bijans, and that Sunday, it was just a couple weeks ago, I kind of thought I was gonna die. I started to feel dizzy, I started shaking, trembling. I ran out of water to drink, so I was definitely dehydrated. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I remember, that feeling, oh no, if I keep pushing myself like this, I'm gonna die. Seriously. But the thing is, like, it was more familiar. I reminded myself, I'm not really gonna die. I just feel that way right now. I can push through this. I can get this done. And so then I got it done. I felt great, at Chinese place, and ordered like a light vegetable dish. Because experience, I know hydrated. Don't order a double quarter pounder with cheese with large fries. You're okay, let's see. It's all that she's fussing about. Order something light. Okay. Also, her panting right in front of my face is not helping at all. You know what I'm saying? Her panting. Shoot. Can you breathe a little softer? No? Right in front of my face, too? You can't breathe any softer? It's fine. It's fine. I've dated a mouth breather before. I'll deal with it. Not my first rodeo. Anyways. Okay. There we go. So this is the last leg that I'm on. Wow. This is so much faster and easier than her sister, Ivy. Okay. I actually charged the same price for both of them though, because they're about the same size, they're the same breed. So I charge the same for both. And that's the thing, the reason why I don't really feel the need to charge extra fees or anything like that, because I play the law of averages, and I feel like it all averages out, even though I spent like 2.5, 3 hours on her sister, on her, I'm probably only gonna spend about an hour, maybe hour and a half. you know, but I'm still charging the same price. You're okay, girl. So, you know, for me, it's the law of averages. It all averages out. Some dogs take longer, some dogs don't take as long. It kind of all averages out at the end. Okay, girl. Nice. Alrighty, so now that I have her all combed out, oh, you're okay. Now that I have her all combed out, you're alright. Gonna go ahead and trim her up a little bit, trim her feet, make them nice and round. Trim up her face a little bit, get the hair out of her eyes. There we go. All right. Oh, you're okay. It's all right, girl. There you go. You're okay, girl. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, girl. I know, I see. That's what it is. That's what we're doing. Just showing her why I need to make her tail feel uncomfortable. Alright. Girl, it's alright. Don't you know, girl? Don't you know, girl? I am the one for you. Okay. Alright. June, would you ever join Skillshare and teach? I would love to learn more from you. Huh. I mean, I guess if it doesn't take up too much of my time. I'm literally spread so thin. Because right now, there's emails coming in that I'm not getting to. Right, my clients. One of them actually, I've been meaning to email her. I just haven't, I forgot. And she emailed me this morning wanting to know if I can get them on the schedule. But as you can see, I'm grooming right now, so I can't email her back, even though I saw the email come in. And I'm usually emailing my clients back while I'm walking my dogs, because I don't like to email them while I'm driving either. So, you know, I'm trying to do all the emails. I do the laundry when I get home. I have to wash the towels that I use, my own personal laundry, my work clothes. I have to, you know, feed my dogs, cook dinner and feed myself. And then I gotta do the dishes. Like, seriously, I'm everything. I'm a one-man show. Literally. So that's why a lot of my platforms seem to be neglected. Like, I'm not really replying to anybody because I'm really not. I can't. I see the comments and I read them and I appreciate them and I reply back when I can. But usually I'm going from one place to another, or I'm driving, or I'm walking my dogs, or I'm cooking, or cleaning, or mowing my lawn, or taking out my trash, you know, or working on other stuff, like my Toastmasters meetings, you know. So as long as, you know, doing the whole Skillshare thing doesn't require too much of my time, because I can't, doing this, just streaming on my YouTube channel, and just showing people what I'm doing and sharing what I'm doing, this is easy because I'm doing it anyways. And I feel like it's not really taking away from my day. You know, I was gonna do this anyways, whether I streamed it on YouTube or not. But I feel like, you know, to stop and email or write out a curriculum or write out something and having to edit and all that, I can't commit to something like that right now. And I just want to be honest and offering to do collaborations with me. And I just have to tell them, no, I'm sorry, I can't commit to that. And I feel like that's much better. Saying no and then trying to work it out if you can, I think is much better than saying yes and then having to back out of it later. Because by saying yes because you want to be nice and then having to back out later, it leaves a bad taste in the person's mouth, whoever it is that you had to back out of your commitment. And I don't know, just people may forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. That's a really good quote. And it's true. People will never forget how you made them feel. And so if you say yes to try to be nice, but then you back out of it and you disappoint them towards you because you let them down. So for me, especially now, you know, whenever I get offers to work on a collaboration together or work on a project together, I always just be clear with them. I tell them I would love to, you know, but I cannot commit to anything like that. You know, and I did tell one person, if you set it all up, if you set it all up and I can just come on as like a guest on the show or something, then yeah, I'm down, I'm all for that. But if you're expecting me to contribute in any way, as far as like my time and skills and writing or anything, I just told him I can't commit, you know. And it did, I've been saying yes to avoid that discomfort initially, and then having to say no later. It's much harder to say no first. And then if you can work it out later, say, oh, by the way, I worked it out and I can actually do it if you still need me to. That's much better than saying yes to something and then backing out. So yeah, for the Skillshare thing, I think that's interesting, but I gotta say no first. Okay, you know what? Her nails are really long. I think I'm gonna have to do her nails first. Oh, it's so hot in here. I can't barely think straight. Oh, just dripping with sweat. But you know what? Whenever this happens, whenever I find myself in a situation comfortable and I feel like I can't escape this, you know, I gotta get this done, right? This is my job. I tell myself, I remind myself that people pay good money to go to a sauna to sweat like this, to go inside of a room. They voluntarily put themselves in situations like this and they pay for it to sweat because it's healthy, right? So I tell myself, oh my goodness, I'm literally getting paid to do something that people pay to do, you know? When I start to sweat too much, I tell myself, I'm getting paid to exercise and burn calories. You know, how awesome is that? So the situation doesn't have to change, but when I change the way I look at it, then the situation changes. You know, I can look at this as a terrible situation where I'm being punished or tortured. I'm so hot, I'm sweating, you know, I can't escape it. Even when I open the garage door, it's hot outside, you know. I can look at it as a very bad thing and I'm in prison. Or I can change the way I look at it and say, you know what? People all over the world go to saunas and they pay a lot of good money to go to a sauna and sweat it out. You know, to be in an environment like this. You know, I'm getting paid for it. I don't have to pay. And also to exercise and burn calories, people pay for that. I'm getting paid. So I can switch it around, you know? But anyways, yeah, her nails are really long. I was gonna trim around her feet first and then just file her nails. But her nails are a little too long, so it's affecting the length where I can cut it. I can't go as short as I want to because her long nails are sticking out. You're okay. Good girl, Holly. Okay. Good girl. A little tip about the nails. So what I'm doing is I'm just clipping right at the tip, making avoid clipping too short. So right here, I'm doing like that, right? So you don't get the quick. So instead of going here, see that? It's just the difference in the angle you approach the nail. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna file it. File the nails nice and smooth. Here we go. Good girl, Holly. Good girl. And see, by clipping the nail first, filing it becomes much easier and faster. And this is a little technique that I learned from Barbara, who first taught me. You go from one side, do the other side, then you do the middle. See that? So side, side, you go on the side of each nail, and then the middle. So she called it side, side, middle. Side, side, middle. See that? Same thing on this foot. So we're gonna file one side, other side, and then the middle. See that? Side, side, middle. One side, do the other side, and the middle. See that? And because I clipped the nail, oh, you're okay. You can see the side that's kind of sticking out and sharp. Good girl. And that's it. Now I got one more foot to do. I think her breathing so hard into the air in front of me is making it even harder for me to breathe. But anyways. There we go. And so this is just me personally, and I'm probably alone in this. I'm probably completely wrong about this. Well, this is just my personality. But like for me, where was I going with that? Hold on one second. The thought will come back to me. Where was I going with that? Anyways. There we go. Alright. Completely lost my train of thought mid-sentence. Alrighty. Okay, so now, wow, this is good though. This is good because I can see, now I get to see how my body reacts in really hot, thick, humid places where the air is thick and hard to breathe. And it's really hot and I'm sweating like crazy. You know, it's good because now I can deal with it and I'm learning, you know, how can I learn to deal with myself in those intense situations, you know? I don't know, for me, I guess it's like preparing for the worst, training to be the best on my worst day, you know? So I look at this kind of like as training so that if I'm ever in a situation, let's just say I'm overseas and I'm doing a grooming demonstration or something for a class in, you know, Africa or even Asia. Sometimes Asia gets super hot. And so let's just say I'm you know, traveling around the world and I'm in this place where they don't really have great air conditioning. It's super hot and humid and there's no ventilation, you know, and the dog's not very cooperative. I want to still be able to say, you know what, I can still do it, you know? And that's why even with tools, I avoided buying nice shears like this, you know, shark fins. I avoided buying nice shears. And whenever I got too comfortable with one pair, I would switch it up and make myself uncomfortable. And I would make myself finish the whole dog with straight shears or something if I got too comfortable with my curves. Because I'm always wanting to keep myself on edge, push myself, and never let myself get too comfortable. And that way I can groom in any situation. You know, if I go travel to Europe or something, you know, let's say I travel to Italy and I'm about to do a grooming demonstration somewhere and my tools get lost, you know, my baggage doesn't arrive and the class is there waiting, you know, I don't want to be the kind of groomer that says, sorry, not the right environment, not the right tools, I can't work like that. You know, I want to be able to say, okay, no problem. You know, do you have any kind of scissors? And if they say, oh, but they're not good scissors, they're just no name, you know, just cheap shears. I want to be able to say, I don't care. You know, are they oiled and clean? But the thing is, so I'm looking at all of this as training, my training time, for future challenges that I may encounter. And I don't want to break down then. You know, I want to push myself and put myself in uncomfortable situations now where I can control the situation and even get out of it if I need to. And that way I can deal with it better when it's the real thing. And I start feeling the pressures on, and I start feeling that anxiety, and I start feeling that frustration of wanting to quit. You all right? At that time, I can say, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this feeling. You know, I can work through this because I've done it before. You know, like Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant, I was a huge fan of his. Not that I watched his games, but more his philosophy and his books and his interviews, his mind, you know, his state of mind, how he thought. But yeah, Kobe Bryant, he would, when reporters would ask him, how did you make that game-winning shot? That was so incredible. He would tell them, there's nothing incredible about it. It's the same shot that I would make in practice over 1,000 times. You know? So he was saying that even though people might think it's so incredible because the pressure was on, and it was such a intense moment, I guess, for him, he practiced it so many times that it was just another shot. So I really drew inspiration from that, and I told myself, I'm never going to shy away from difficult situations ever again. I'm going to look at it as practice for future. You know, people might be shocked. How did you get through that? How did you do that? How did you accomplish that? I want to be able to answer the way Kobe did. I practice, you know, because they say that these are experts saying this. People like top psychologists who have studied people who have dealt with crisis. But they said that the human beings, we don't rise to the occasion, we fall to the level of our practice. I'll say that again. Human beings, we don't rise to the occasion, we fall to the level of our practice, which is why in the army, in the military, practice, drills, it's so important. Because without that practice, without ingraining it and doing it over and over again, when the pressure's on, you're gonna freeze, you're gonna choke, because the brain is gonna just lock up. But if you put yourself in those difficult situations before and you work through it, your brain gets used to that. And then when you're in a difficult situation again, yeah, you might freeze up for a second, but then your brain unlocks. It says, oh, I remember this. We can get through this. Monica C, June, okay. Amelia says, oh, hi, June and Doodle. Hi, what's up, Amelia? Such a cutie, right? So she's almost done, really. So I've already rounded out the feet. I've combed out her whole body. Now, I'm just gonna see if I can touch up her head a little bit, but it really doesn't even need it. So I'm just gonna get in between the eyes here. Just in between the eyes. Because to be able to see the dog's eyes is super important. They say that at the rescue shelters, when the dog's hair is of it getting adopted, drop significantly. Because when you can't see the dog's eyes, people feel a little more intimidated. They feel like, oh, maybe it's a mean dog. But as soon as you open up the eyes and people can see the dog's eyes, those friendly, gentle eyes, then they feel like, oh, I love this dog. You know, they feel a connection with them. So being able to see the eyes is super important. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this hair here. I remember Jim Rohn's quote too. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skill. So instead of wishing that things were easier and the circumstances would come down to your level, it's much better to accept the challenge and rise to it by putting yourself in those difficult situations. I remember one of our Toastmasters, his name is Mark, and Mark, he was really stage fright, and he was wanting to practice his toast that he was gonna make as the best man for his brother's wedding. And after the wedding date, he came to one of the meetings, and I asked him, I was like, hey, how did the toast go? And he said, oh, it went great, you know? And I asked him, do you think the meeting helped? I asked him, well, were you nervous at all? And he goes, yeah, of course I was nervous. And I was like, oh man, did the meetings help at all? Did it help to, you know, deliver the speech here at the club? And he told me, yeah, helped immensely. And he said that when he got up to make the speech, to make his toast, he felt the butterflies immediately, and he felt nervous. But then he said, immediately though, his brain told him, I remember this. You know, I can get through this. You know, because he felt it in the club. He already went through it. He rehearsed it. He felt the nerves. He felt the jitters. And he did, you know, stutter and stumble a little bit, but he did it with us in a safe environment. And we gave him feedback because he went through it and practiced it. When the real time came, and it was his moment to get up and make the speech, instead of backing out, instead of choking, he was able to deliver a really good speech because he practiced it. So for me, I don't want to just hope that I become skilled enough to rise to any occasion. I want to put myself in situations that challenge me and push me, because I don't want to wonder and hope when the time comes, tackle any challenge or obstacle or difficulty that comes my way. You know, especially when I have my own school and I might travel to different schools around the country just to kind of, you know, not just network, but also get ideas of how other schools are running their programs. But when I do that, you know, if I'm called to do demonstrations or different grooms and things don't work out, you know, I don't have my tools with me, things like that, I want to be able to say, it doesn't matter, you know, the show will still go on. But if I don't practice those situations, and if I give up when it's easy, you know, like if I tell my client, hey, it's way too hot, I'm sure she would say, okay, I'm sorry, you know, and I could totally get out of this if I wanted to, you know, but not giving myself that option by telling myself I'm a professional. I show up and I do a good job, you know, and I work until the job is complete because I'm a professional. Then I can take pride in myself. I can take pride in my work, you know, and I feel better about myself at the end of the day because I didn't give up. I didn't call it off. There you go, girl. So for me, I don't know, maybe it's because I was suicidal, you know, in my life a couple times. And maybe because I have gotten to the point where I was so depressed, I just felt like, what is the point of existence? You know, what is our purpose here? Maybe because I went so far that way. Now I just feel like I want to live every single day as if it is a movie, as if my life is a movie. I'm the main character, and every day there's different plot twists and challenges that I have to face, like a hero in a real movie. Because if I ever went handsome boy, born into a really nice family, and everything just kind of works out for him. He goes to an Ivy League school, fully covered scholarship, because he's a genius, on top of everything else. And he meets the love of his life. They have a beautiful family, white picket fence. The retirement plan is all in order. And he dies peacefully and happily in his sleep, knowing his children and his grandchildren are well taken care of. The end. I would say, where the hell is my refund? Never mind the time that I just wasted. There's nothing to learn from that. There was no struggle. There was no overcoming obstacles or anything. And, there's none of that. I would be like, what a dumb movie, And that's the thing. It's like, same thing with my life. I thought I wanted everything to be easy and for everything to just work out for me. But I realized, if it did, what a boring movie. Be embarrassed to tell my story, What did you do on Earth? I played it safe. I played it safe and paid all my bills on time. I had a great credit score though. It's like, but what did you do? I paid my bills. I saved for retirement. That's what I did. I was safe. What is that quote from J.K. Rowling? It's impossible to live without making any failures or making any mistakes in life, unless you live so carefully that you may as well not have lived at all. There you go, girl. So yeah, I remember another quote saying that when I'm buried, I don't want my body to be in perfect condition, dressed all nice. He was saying he wants to be bruised, bumped and bruised, battered, and like land in his casket, after a bomb hit him or something, He was like, I want to live, I want to experience, All right, girl. Okay. Okay. Since I blew my nose. Let me drink some water here. Oh man, I'm sweating like crazy. Oh wow. Wow, thank you, Amelia. Wow, you are so inspirational, June. Good on you for everything you do. Wow, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Amelia. Okay, so she's pretty much all done. Good job, girl. Check those ears. Yeah, ears look good. Nails are filed, feet are trimmed, whole body's combed out. Nice. Just as a little finishing touch, what I'm gonna do is, got my finishing spray. Okay, so this is an undercoat rake. I'm just gonna go through and just pull out some of this dead undercoat that's still in here. Oh, you're okay. And that's gonna really soften this coat. Look at all that. It's funny that we all think that what we really want is a life of comfort and ease. And it's actually not. The Matrix, The Matrix, the movie? In The Matrix, they describe how the first version of The Matrix failed. because they made it like a utopia. Everything was perfect, there's no violence, there's peace, there's no problems. And the humans rejected it. Our minds rejected it. It's almost like we're made to solve problems, you know? You're okay. And without any problems to solve, without anything to fix, you know, I think human beings kind of feel restless. And so the first version of the Matrix didn't even work because they made it too perfect. You know, we had to have problems. It had to be dirty, you know? Look at that. So, you know, I really think that, okay, so there's a really great example, a real life example. The, what is it called? Shoot, so, oh man. Oh, the Stevens Island wren. So Stevens Island wren is a little bird, a flightless bird that they found on Stevens Island. And it was the lighthouse keeper, his cat named Tibbles, found this bird on this island. And the lightkeeper sent the sample back to England, because he thought it was a new species. And sure enough, it was a new species. And he got word back from England that yes, indeed, this is a new species. Could you send us a better sample because this one's a bit mangled up? And by the time he got that letter, he had to write them back and inform them of the bad news. Unfortunately, the species is now extinct. So just within that time, the cat that found the species, that found that bird, he also was the one that hunted them down to extinction. One cat on that island, extinction for those birds. Why? Well, the theory is that those birds flew to that island generations ago. And then because the island was so fruitful, had so much food to eat, and there was no need, they just basked in the sunlight, enjoyed paradise, and they lost the ability to fly. They lost all their natural defenses. And all it took was one disruptor, one cat named Tibbles, to come in, find them, and destroy them. So the lesson is, the moral is, a life of ease is a great recipe for extinction. You know, we want challenges, we want problems, we want that constant threat so that it pushes us and it makes us strong. Yo, you're okay. And that way, when a threat or a disruptor comes by, we will not have taken it easy. We'll still be able to defend ourselves and fly if necessary. You know, you don't want to lose your ability to fly. There we go. So sometimes we think that if we won the lottery, our lives would just solve everything. Au contraire, right? There's so many real life stories of people who won the lottery and they wish they didn't, you know? So, oh, Jim Rohn says it really good. Jim Rohn says, if somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire pretty quickly so that you get to keep the money. So it's not just about the amount, it's about the mindset. You know, if you don't have the mindset of a millionaire, it doesn't matter if someone hands you $1 million, it won't stick around. Easy come, easy go. So I realize if it's not a life of ease and comfort that brings us happiness, then what is it? Because it's not the opposite that brings happiness either, right? A life full of misery and suffering. I'm not sure if that would make us happy either, right? So if it's not comfort and ease, and it's not suffering and misery, then what is it that, you know, brings us happiness? How can we then? I believe happiness comes when you're serving others, and when you're making measurable progress towards a worthy goal. Whatever goal it is that you have in mind, when you make progress towards that goal, when you work towards it, that's, I think, what makes you feel happy. There we go. And it's not the attainment of the goal that makes you happy. It's happy along the way. The journey is happiness, you know? Having a goal to work towards, that's happiness. I remember when I first had my first kid, and more of my free time was being taken away from me. I could no longer just sit and play video games anymore like I like to. Now I had to do so much during the day, and you never get a break once you have a kid. And so I remember feeling kind of frustrated as I was experiencing more and more of my freedoms being taken away from me, the things that I enjoyed. And I couldn't be selfish anymore. I couldn't just live for myself. And the thing is, you would think that I would feel less happy because I'm doing less things for myself. And my personal free time is being taken away, kind of, and I'm doing less and less of what I want. And I'm doing more and more of what my family needs. You would think that I would feel less happy, but I didn't. I felt more happy. It was much more rewarding to sacrifice and do things that were beneficial for everyone else in my family and not just me. That felt so much better. So what I'm saying is that you may think living like a college bachelor, just doing whatever you want, smoking weed all day, playing video games, you might think that that's where you're gonna be happy, but it's not. It's sacrificing that and not doing the thing and just selfish and doing things that are helpful to everyone else, being of service to the group. That is so much more fulfilling, and that makes you feel so much more happy inside than if you were to play video games all day long, have all your favorite treats and munchies, pizza and ice cream. I just feel like a life that is self-serving is a life that is empty. You're okay, girl. You're okay. But a life of service to others is one that is fulfilled. You're okay, girl. There we go. Good girl. There we go. You're okay. There we go. I hear you. Okay. So even though that wasn't that much, it's still enough. See all of this? To make a big difference in the texture of her coat. When you actually feel her, she feels so much softer now. And she's gonna stay cleaner, she's gonna smell nicer, because all of this that's being combed out, this is what's holding on to the odor. Just like this old dirty shirt, that because I sweated in it, if I wore this shirt tomorrow, it will smell, because it's got all this bacteria in it that's causing the odor. Same thing with this. If I were to leave this in her coat, tomorrow she'll smell, because this has got the bacteria that causes the odor, just like our old undershirts. So that's what's so important about combing all this out. Now that it's mostly healthy hair, see that? The comb goes through so nicely. Doesn't get caught. We don't get the same painful reaction from her like we were seeing before, because now it's comfortable. See that? Okay. Get that off. There we go. So I was watching this what is it? Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives with Guy Fieri on the Food Channel. And he visited this restaurant where these Japanese guys made these noodles out in California. And these noodles are just so incredibly amazing for what people say. And the trick is, the guy asked him what the ingredients were. It's flour and water. That's it. So there's water. The secret is, the chef kneads the dough for 4.5 hours. And he's not just kneading it any kind of way either. You can see he's meticulous. There's a process to it. 4.5 hours. And you would think to yourself, it's just noodles, dude. Why would you knead noodles for 4.5 hours or knead the dough for 4.5 hours, dude? Just make some noodles, instant noodles, who cares? But that's what makes it so special, because to him, it's not just noodles. It's his way of serving his community. And it's something that he cares about so much, because for him, it's a way to connect with tradition, with history. That's how his ancestors used to make it. And the texture is uncomparable. It's unmatched. And when you take a bite of his noodles, it's unlike any other. That's why he cares enough to spend 4.5 hours to knead that dough before he cuts noodles out of it. And same thing with me. I realized that's exactly why I'm okay with spending 3-4 hours combing a dog. Because you may think to yourself, dude, it's just a dog. Why would you spend 3-4 hours combing it? Because the texture is unmatched. It's undeniable. And the quality is unmatched. My clients, this is my art, and it's meaningful to me. So meaningful, in fact, that I'm willing to spend as long as it takes, you're okay, to make sure she's comfortable. So when I go through with the comb here, her skin is clear and smooth, and it doesn't hurt. I don't get the reaction, the painful reaction like I see. So I want to create real change, real results. There we go. There we go. Oh man, back here feels so nice now. It was feeling kind of crusty, a little grainy back here. Now it feels so nice and smooth. Alrighty, there we go. We are all done. Good job, girl. Oh my goodness, girl. So beautiful. Look at that. Oh, good job, girl. Alrighty, so there she is, all done. Alrighty. Amelia says, oh, she's a good girl. Awesome, thank you so much. Raquel, thanks for streaming today. You'll be ready, what does that say? You'll be ready for a cold beer when you get back. Yeah, hell yeah. Gotta go. Thank you, Raquel. Have a good one. But yeah, oh my goodness. Today, that's why I love having days like this where I sweat, because when I go home and I pop open that beer, I'm gonna be like, I deserve this. I earned it, But anyways, oh, she feels so nice. All right, thanks guys.